Hi everyone, welcome to our channel, Rebecca Stew and the Crew. I'm Rebecca and today we have some winter home decor DIYs using items from the Dollar Tree. So let's go over our supplies for our first craft. Today we're going to need 2 red oven mitts from the Dollar Tree and one of these microfiber dusting mops. We also need some greenery of your choice, maybe some little berries and even some flowers of your choice. For your mittens, we'll need some bells for the end, some hot glue, and then we'll need some scissors and a piece of string or twine. So let's get crafty. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove all of the tags off of our oven mitts and our dusting mop. Then just fold in your mitten to make it a little bit shorter. These are really long. We want these to look more like a mitten and not like an oven mitt. Once we have those folded down, you can glue that in place if you like, or just leave it as is. Next, we're going to find the center of the mop. And if you separate these fibers, you'll see that they are sewn on in these strips. And if you cut between the strips, you'll make very little mess with the microfiber mop. You are going to have a little bit of the fibers come off on the ends when you cut through the edge. But if you follow the path up the center of the mop, you won't have a lot of these strings coming off because you'll be cutting between the stitching. So make sure you take your time and you slowly separate the fibers of the mop and just follow your way up the center. And you're going to cut all the way down to the other end. And this will be enough for you to do 2 of the oven mitts. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit, but I'll show you how to make it fit here when we put the whole thing together. Now, like I said, when you get to the end, around the edges, you're going to have to cut through the fibers. So you are going to just grab and pull the little fibers that come off on the end and make a pile. And then once you do that, like I said, if you cut right through that center piece and mind where you're cutting, then you won't have too much coming off and you'll be able to quickly clean up the edges with very little mess. So I just pull all those stitches off of the edges and the end, anything that's come loose. And then we'll clean that up, and that's all that came off of our fiber mop. So now we are going to add some hot glue to the back of our mop and then lay our mitten on top. We're going to have it overlap the edge just a little bit. This way we won't have to fold it in. It'll fluff up around that top and it'll completely cover the pieces you have folded in. So then we'll add some more glue to the edges and just fold the white part of the mop over. Now for this last piece, it's a little bit tight, just a tad bit short. So you want to pull so that you kind of crease the side of the mitten in just a little bit. Then hold the microfiber mop in place while the glue dries or sets up. And then it will completely cover the edge. Then what I did is I went in with a little bit of glue and I just made sure I glue all those little fibers down to make sure that it doesn't pull apart or separate and show where we've glued them together. Then just fluff up the edges and then you can go ahead and fill your mittens with any kind of greenery that you can find from the Dollar Tree. I had these really pretty snowy branches. They brought out these new snowy like boxwood with the berries. This year I've got a really pretty poinsettia with some gold in the center. And we're just going to pop that down in the edge. And then we'll also put a hanger on the back just using some ribbon. And then we'll stuff both of our mittens the exact same way. And then if you like, you can actually add some more glue right in the center once all the flowers are together and just kind of squeeze and glue the whole thing shut. But I just left mine the way it was. I stuffed it so full, the flowers really aren't going to come out. Now taking some twine or some baker's twine, whatever you have, you can go ahead and tie some bells if you like to the edge of the ribbon. And then just glue it underneath of your poinsettia, your flower, to put this little jingle bell. So these are going to go on my door. So I thought it would be cute to have the little jingle bells when the doors open and close. And we'll do the same to both mittens. I was making one for each of my daughters. Or you could put these together and have it be like a pair of like Santa's mittens. That would be cute as well. So it's really up to you how you want to finish off your design here. You either put them together or just have them separate. But like I said, I made 2 exactly the same And I'm just adding those little jingle bells there. So it's a really quick, simple, easy craft to do, but it's so cute when it's finished. And I just love how these turned out. Very simple. And now we'll get started on our second craft today. The DIY number 2, the supplies we'll need today for this second craft will be some of these miniature ornaments from the Dollar Tree. We'll need 15. We're also going to use 1 wood slice. Those are the signs that they have. We're just going to use 1 of those. We'll need some of these wood stems. We'll just need 1, also from Dollar Tree, and 1 of the large craft sticks. I'm also going to be using a few of these small wood craft cubes and some of the tower block game. We'll need 1 of those pieces, and then some ribbon of your choice. I'm going to use some more of this black and white cotton twine and some paint. I'm going to be using white. We'll need some paint brushes and scissors, some hot glue. And let's get crafty putting our second DIY together. So the first thing we're going to do is take some of our white chalk paint and we're going to paint our wood slice. Now these are the little signs that have the twine hanger on the top. So I just pulled the hanger off and take the staples out, and then I went ahead and put a nice coat of paint right on the top. And then for the edge, I'm just going to lightly brush on whatever paint was left on the brush. I actually want to see a little bit of the bark on the edge, so I'm not going to saturate it too much with paint. Then that little birch wood piece, we'll just paint the top. Then when it's all dry, we'll go ahead and glue it right to the center of that wood slice. Now we're going to take our ornaments and pull all the toppers off, but hold on to them. We're going to use a few of them at the end. And then I figured out the design for the triangle that we're going to make. And then we're going to cut off the topper using some dog nail clippers. You could just use regular scissors here as well. It's really up to you, but we want a flat surface to make it easier to glue these together and to the base. So we're just going to cut off all of the topper that those little gold pieces were on. And then our craft stick, we're going to paint it black just to match the ornaments that we're using. So if you were using red ornaments, you'd probably want to paint this red or whatever color ornament you're using to blend in with the tree. This is going to be our base to build our tree on. So then we'll glue this right to the center of that birch piece that's now dry. And then we'll start stacking our ornaments. And I just kind of did a random pattern. So of course these ornaments, some of them have like stripes on them. There's some glitter and some of them were matte or shiny. So I just kind of alternate between them and try to create a pattern so there's not any 2 exactly the same ornaments next to each other. Just kind of stagger them to make the design a little bit more interesting. So we're going to do the 5 small ornaments on the bottom row. Here's what it looks like so far. And then we'll start building our second row. We're doing a pyramid. So we're going to have 4 ornaments on this row. And of course, we're going to glue those between the openings. And just for the size of the ornament, sometimes they are close enough to touch. And sometimes there's a little bit wider space between the ornaments. Just depends on kind of how you glue them on or where they sit, but there is a tiny bit of a space between each one. So don't expect them to be snug right up next to each other because that's just not going to happen with the size ornaments that we are using. So there's the second row. And now we'll move on to the third row. So this row obviously will have 1 less, so we'll do 3 ornaments on the third row. And then the fourth row, we're going to have 2 ornaments. And then obviously the last row, we'll just put the 1 ornament, and we have 1 ornament left because it was a pack of 16. Now we're going to take those little toppers and glue them on the edges all the way down the edge of the tree. And that just helps add a little bit of sparkle. We can add some bows to this if we like. And I just thought it looked really cute with those toppers put back on the bulbs. And this way we were able to glue all of the bulbs on and not worry too much about them, tipping over or not fitting correctly. And then just add the toppers at the end, and it looks like the bulbs are the way they were supposed to be. I just made some very tiny bows using some buffalo plaid ribbon. And then we'll kind of tuck those in with some glue and a couple spots along our tree, filling in some of the open spaces and helping to hide a little bit of the glue. And then we made a larger bow for the top, and that will be our tree topper. And then we're going to make a few little presents to glue at the bottom. So I have those small little building blocks that we had, and I painted them 3 different colors, dark gray, light gray, and white. Then we glue them together in kind of like a staggered stack. And I have one of those Jenga kind of tower blocks, and I just painted that one black. And we will wrap some of this baker's twine around the squares once the paint has dried. I'm adding a little bit of glue to help hold the twine in place. And this is to represent like a ribbon wrapped around a stack of presents. Once we have the ribbon all glued down, we can make a small bow for the top if you like. You could either use the baker's twine or you can use some more of the coordinating ribbon to make a bow for the top. Now the long building block, I just decided to go ahead and wrap the twine around it one time and then make a tiny bow for the top. And you can add a bow or you don't have to add a bow. It's really up to you. So we've got these little bows made with the twine, and we can add those to the top of the present. And then we'll just go ahead and glue the presents to the base around the Christmas tree. And you can make as many or as little of these presents as you like around your tree. They could be all different colors. I just wanted to coordinate mine to match with the tree that I made. And I took these little tags that I had and I actually cut them down. I wanted the cardstock feel to them and added a little tag to the present. I thought that was cute. So I took the string that was on the end of it and I tie a knot closer to the end and then just cut off the excess string. And then we can glue those to the gifts. Like I have one that says Love Santa and one that says Mom. So as you can see, I'm just cutting these down. You can just use paper. You could use a index card that would help hold up over time instead of just like a thinner paper, or you can leave the tags off. It's really up to you. It's just a little added feature that I decided to add to the gifts here. And this would look so cute on a tiered tray because they're kind of small, or, just in a cute little display on a table or anywhere around the house, a desk. Just a fun little farmhouse style tree with the buffalo plaid and the black, gray, and white. And now the supplies for our third craft today. We're going to use one of these little signs and a small wood sticker, a large ornament that's a snowflake and a snowman. We'll need some paint and some paint brushes. We're also going to need a sanding sponge or a sanding block, some ribbon of your choice, and then we'll need some stickers or some stencils, a dotting tool, and then we'll need some of the puffy paint. You could also get that from the Dollar Tree, some more paint brushes, this berry garland, and some of the snowflake garland from Dollar Tree. So let's get crafty. So I wanted these to be white and I wanted to put the letters on. I wasn't really sure if the paint I had was going to cover the letters. So I chose to go ahead and just sand the letters off of these little houses here, just to help so that it didn't show through once I painted the whole thing. Then using some small detail paint brushes, we're going to use this really light blue paint to paint the beads that are glued between the house shapes. So I make sure that I paint all the way around because I wanted this to be able to be put anywhere and not worry too much about the backing. I wanted it to have a finished look. So that's why we're going to paint the front, the back, the top, and the bottom. So it's really up to you if you care if the back is finished or not. So each one of the beads we do in the ice blue. It took just one coat of paint to cover the bead, since these were the lighter color beads. And then for the next part, we are going to paint the little houses. And I first put a coat of white paint down. And thankfully, with the lettering sanded off, I only had to do one coat of paint, and I can still see that wood grain through the first coat because the paint's a little bit thin. So I'm glad that I sanded off the lettering. Then we go ahead and paint the top. We'll paint between the houses where the beads are. If I get any white paint on the beads, it's okay because it kind of looks like snow. So I kind of liked it. And then I went ahead and painted the back of the houses also. Once that's dry, we're going to take our stickers or stencils. It's really up to you. So I chose to use these stickers from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to put the letter S, N, and W on the little houses here. We really want to make sure that it's stuck down really good to the backing because we're going to eventually peel these off and we're going to have that white paint left behind. So you want to really make sure that the stickers are stuck down really well. And then I chose to use some black paint to go over top of the lettering. And we're just going to do one thin coat. And this is the chalk paint that the Dollar Tree sells, that black chalk paint that they sell. That is the paint that I'm using here. So I'm just going to take the one coat and we'll go over our stickers. You want to be careful when you're going over top of the stickers that you're not really like pushing real hard around the edges because you don't want any of the paint to get up underneath of the sticker. So once we have those three painted black, we're just going to let those dry. And while they're drying, we'll take that little snowflake sticker that we removed the sticker off of the back, and we're just going to go ahead and paint that black. We'll let that dry. Now for this snowman, usually he has a carrot nose sticking off to the side. I just trimmed that off with scissors, and now I have a snowman. Instead of a side profile view, I'll be able to do a front view. And those are just the snowman ornaments you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. We're painting the front and the back black for the top part for the hat. And then we'll paint the edges, the front and the back white to represent the snowman's body. Make sure you do the edges. And then once the snowman body's been painted, you'll want to let that dry for a few minutes. So go ahead and paint two of the snowflake ornaments white, and you'll want to do that on the front and the back. Now there are those little holes where you can put the twine hanger in the snowflake and the snowman ornament. I usually just put a little dot of hot glue in the hole and then take like a piece of paper or something and rub over it so it's flat and fill the hole in, and then I can paint right on top of it and it blocks that hole and you can't see it anymore. Now that the paint has dried over top of the stickers, we can go ahead and pull those off. And we've got this really pretty design of like a snowy night. We'll put our snowflake for the letter O. We just glue that on with some hot glue. Then I'm taking that dotting tool and some of the white paint, and we're just going to add some snowflakes all around our letters to create this really cute little snowy night. And then taking the puffy paint, we'll add some 3D effects to the bottom to look like piles of snow underneath of the lettering. I'm just kind of doing a wavy line and then filling it in, not too thick, but enough that it gives a 3D look. And then the snowflake, we're going to add a few dots all the way around it to make snowflakes that are 3D, and these help it to kind of pop up off the background. Since we have that white background, the paint would just blend in. That's why we're using the puffy paint. So here's what it looks like so far. We'll allow this to dry for a little while, and while it's drying, we can work on some of the details for the other parts. So we'll take that dotting tool and add the details to our snowman. We'll add his eyes and some buttons and his mouth. One of those little orange berries we'll add with some hot glue to make a nose. The perfect size for the ornaments. And then we'll take some baker's twine in blue and white. It matches our beads. And I took 6 pieces. I tape it down and I'm just going to braid it. You can just twist it if you don't know how to braid, but I wanted this a little bit thicker to represent a scarf. Once I have it braided all the way down, I'll just tie the end off in a knot, leaving the tassels on the end. And then we can go ahead and add this to our snowman using some hot glue. We'll just wrap it around a few times to layer it up and add more glue as we go. You want to make sure when you're gluing it on that you're not covering up the mouth. So just be mindful of that as you're adding your hot glue. And now we've got this cute little scarf on our snowman. And we can use some more of that baker's twine to decorate our hat. And that way it coordinates with his scarf. So just a little piece of that baker's twine with some hot glue and just wrap it around the hat a few times to make it a little bit thicker, and then glue it down with some hot glue in the back. And you can trim off any excess. Then I have the snowflake garland for the mini trees. I'm just going to cut some silver snowflakes off and add that to the hat to help dress it up a little bit. And then the snowflakes we painted earlier, I'll use some of the larger silver snowflakes from that garland, and we'll put those in the center of the large snowflake ornaments. Now that everything's dry, we can go ahead and add some hot glue and glue our snowman to the center of the sign. Then I decided to add some 3D effects to the snowflakes. So once I glued that silver piece on the center, I'm just going over the snowflake with the puffy paint. And Dollar Tree does sell its own version of puffy paint, and they do have white. And we're just going to go over these lines, making a very simple snowflake design. Just a very small, simple, thin line, so it doesn't take too long to dry. And add some 3D effects to our snowflakes. We'll add some more snowy effects to this once we have it all glued together. Here's what it looks like so far. And then you can go ahead and glue your 2 snowflakes to the tops of the house on either side of the snowman. I didn't really pay too close of attention where the glue needed to be, so I wish I would have marked it with a pencil first. But I ended up hiding the glue with some more puffy paint at the end, so it really didn't matter once I was finished. So that's our first snowflake, and we'll glue another one to the other side. I just held it in place for a second until the glue started to set up. That way the snowflake wouldn't fall over. And then you could take some more puffy paint and add that to the tops of the house to make it look like snow has fallen on the rooftop. I add a little bit more snow in 3D form to the top of the hat and the snowflakes. So it just looks like snow kind of built up at the top and was dripping down a little bit. And you can see the top of the house with the snow as well. And like I said, that helps hide that extra glue that we used to glue the ornaments in place. So here's some close-ups of all of our details for this little sign. I just love how this turned out. I think it is so cute. I hope you guys enjoy learning how to make these crafts with me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And here are some other videos from our channel you might also enjoy. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.